So first off, I'm curious what your assessment is so far of the women's team in Tokyo. What have you thought about them?
Well, I have to say that getting up at 4:30 in the morning when they played Sweden, I thought I was dreaming.
Yeah.
To be honest, I mean, Sweden really came to Tokyo with a game plan. They executed. Their coach had them ready, and boy, did they look like they were someone who wanted to snatch a medal from the Olympic Games on that game. It was amazing, and the USA couldn't do anything. It was really kind of surprising, to say the least, how dominant Sweden was. I mean, they exploited every possible avenue. I mean, it was like waves crashing on the shore again and again, and a lot of uncharacteristic errors for USA. So from a former teammate and part of the sisterhood, it was clear to me that what was lacking was the mentality. USA mentality, which is basically, winning every 50-50 ball, execution, getting stuck into the game, executing the game plan, all these things that we do so incredibly well, were being done to us incredibly well. So it was a real eye opener. But the interesting thing about it was, I feel like it, on top of ending a 44-game winning streak, which was a doozy, right? I mean, that's a little bit of a weight to carry coming into an Olympic Games. And so that's gone. Yeah. So that weight is freed up. And also it was a wake-up call, and they responded incredibly well against New Zealand the next game.
Do you think this team has what it takes to win the gold after winning the World Cup?
It's never been done before, the double. Being able to win back-to-back, although there's a year in between, it still feels surreal for everyone, I'm sure. But I think there's still a chance. I really do. I think that if the team uses the defeat to Sweden, which was embarrassing, and they use that embarrassment as fuel to fire them up and to go forward in a positive way, I still think they definitely have a chance of winning and bringing gold home and doing double. No one's ever done it before, like you said.
Say the team does fall short and falter and doesn't come home with it. What do you think that does say about the state of the program right now?
It's so interesting to me, because winning a world championship in the Olympic Games or on the World Cup stage is almost an insurmountable feat. I mean, you have to have so many things go well. And if they lose, I don't think it's the devastation or the end of anything. I think it's just another chapter written in the book, and maybe it's time to assess some players on the team. And you're always going to have a moment in your program over the course of decades where you're going to really have to say, okay, we need to really turn the team over. We need to get new blood in here. And so I'd say that if they don't bring home the gold, it's definitely a sign that they're going to need new blood. I mean, all their forwards are over 30. Not saying that that's an age where you're done by any means, especially nowadays. But maybe it's just a matter of reassessing, who you're going to have in, and you don't have a lot of time to figure it out either, because the Women's World Cup is in 2023.
Yeah. Yeah, not much time left.
Right.
But after the high of winning in 99, I know you lost the gold medal in the game in 2000.
Yeah.
Why is it so hard to win a gold medal after winning a World Cup? What is that?
I feel like the climbing the mountain for the World Cup is there, and you get to the mountaintop and you win it and you're thrilled. And you also breathe a sigh of relief to a degree, and a lot more relief emotion than most people realize, I think. And so what happens is you have a lull in your thirst for winning. And I feel what happens is, because that Olympic Games is literally right on the back of it, you have two issues. You have maybe a factor that you've been overtraining by then, because you've been training for so long, for many months in a row. And then there's also, it's maybe a little bit anticlimactic, to be honest. And then you also have that target on your back because you just freshly minted World Cup champion and everybody's going to bring their A game, especially when it's United States. And so I feel like it's just, you know, really difficult. In 99, 2000, we came really close to doing it. I mean, we're talking about overtime, you know, in the gold medal game that we lost. And so, but I felt like because the COVID year occurred, that maybe that was enough time and a buffer in between to get some rest, but you know, that caused unintended consequences of its own.
Well, I want to talk about some of your fond memories. What's your favorite Olympic moment? Are there any specific ones that come to mind during your gold medal runs in 96 and 04?
I'd tell you 96 was so special because it was the first ever for women's soccer. And we were at home, meaning we were in the United States. We were playing for gold in front of our countrymen and women and in front of our families. And truly, it was a magical night, you know, we were playing in Athens, Georgia, not in Atlanta. And for those of you that don't know, we were in Athens.
Athens, yep.
Yeah, it was close enough, but it was absolutely magical. And it was so cool because we were all giddy because it was our first time for anyone playing soccer to win a gold. And so that was really special for that reason. But in 2004, we played in Athens again, but in Athens, Greece.
Completely different.
Yes, very, very different. It was a fantastic Olympic Games for me, performance-wise, but also I had a real heavy heart because my father passed away 2 months before the Games. And so I was really battling, you know, someone who had been there for me my whole life, who I was used to having at these major events, you know, had passed away, but it was, you know, almost like he was my angel in the goal for that tournament. And so we won again in overtime, of course, because we like to be dramatic around here, apparently. So.
I'm also curious too, do you feel like the iconic 99 team wouldn't have happened without what had taken place in 96? I know that the experience in 96 helped with the attention that was put on you guys, but do you feel like that it wouldn't have happened without that, what took place in 96?
I do. I feel like winning in 96 definitely helped us feel confident, that we could pull the crowd, because we upgraded our World Cup. Originally, it was in smaller stadiums, you know, 2,000 to 5,000 people, maybe 10,000 people. And because of the reception we got in 96, you know, 76,000 at our final, 64,000, you know, many more people than we were used to. We thought we could put it to the big football stadiums for 99 because of that. And so that really did help. And of course, winning can help all manner of things. You know, everybody loves a winner. And so the enthusiasm was high for us to have our World Cup in 99. And we just rode that wave, and the committee, you know, came together with US Soccer and the players to go big. And so we were able to do it. And of course, won in dramatic fashion and penalty kicks, because we just can't do it normal around here, I guess. So that was really fun.
This may be some of the last times we see the likes of, you know, Megan Rapinoe and CARLI LLOYD on the international stage. What do you feel like their legacies are to the sport?
I think the legacies that CARLI and Megan have are the same as all of us that have played for the women's national soccer team. You know, absolute and incredible success in winning or losing on the pitch, and more winning than losing, which is the legacy of the team. And then the amazing impact on society off the pitch that we've always had, you know, battling for equal pay. You know, they've continued to do that. And Megan Rapinoe also battling in, you know, for representation for LGBT and inclusion, and, you know, fighting against bad policing all over the country. And so, and CARLI, you know, she has shown that you can do amazing things at any age. And I really feel like she has really opened people's eyes as to what is possible for women in sport in their mid to late 30s. And there was a time when it was thought that, you know, your mid 30s, you were done. And she's proven that that's not true. And I think that really inspires women all over the world to continue to fight for their dreams, whether they're athletic, you know, themed, or just in the workplace as well. And I think Megan and CARLI have both been fantastic examples of that.
I saw a headline actually today saying that the U.S. women's soccer players have filed an appeal to overturn the 2020 equal pay lawsuit. We were just talking about that. What do you need to see to know that this is going in the right direction rather than the wrong direction?
Well, that news you just told me shows me it's still going in the right direction, because they're not giving up. They're not giving up on it. We have fought, and I say we because I was one of the 9 original players in late 95, early 96 that went on strike for not only better pay, but it wasn't even equal back then. It was just reasonable. We were asking for reasonable pay and resources, which are things that aren't tied to the paycheck. For example, quality hotel rooms like the men have, the hotels, the travel, the same travel, per diem, small per diems per day, fighting for things like that, massage therapists, childcare. I mean, the list is long, and I think it's really telling now that it's in the court system, because that's where it had to go. That was the next logical step, and so that's where we're at. And this is the only way to create change is to push for it and try to take it, because it's not going to be given. And it's really unfortunate, because if you think about the way change occurs for so many groups that are, treated unequally over time, they always have to fight for decades to get to where they need to go. And we are still in the middle of ours, and hopefully on the tail end of it. And hopefully soon that lawsuit will make its way into the right direction, and hopefully be another win for women's soccer and women, not only in this country, but throughout the world.
Last question we have for you. Obviously, the U.S. women's national team has been very outspoken about equal pay, and they aren't afraid to get too political. A lot of people are on either a one side or the other with this. So what do you feel like, in your opinion, are the pros and cons of being this outspoken? And do you think it's good for the brand?
Well, there's a couple of things to that question. It's a great question. For one, the platform of the Olympic Games, for example, has for decades been used to advance and bring light to different causes. Equality has been one for many, many decades, whether it's African Americans having equality, women having equality, and now not only just in the workplace, but everywhere, the right to vote, all these different things. And so the Olympics has always been a stage for that. So I find it a little bit interesting that some folks are saying, well, just stop talking about your politics and just play the game. Well, I'm sorry, but the game is political. I mean, it's the two are interwoven, and it's going to be difficult to unweave them. And until there's equality for all, there's equality for none. And so you have to continue to battle for that. And so for me, I think it's important that athletes at the pinnacle of their athletic prowess and of their careers not just act like that's the only part that they have. That's not the only thing they are or the only thing they do. They're human beings playing a sport. And because of that, they have challenges, they have, things they want to advance and issues and things that are important to them. And those things go with them on the pitch, on the field, in the pool. They don't just get left, at the door when the athlete shows up to perform. It's with them all the time. And so the two are interwoven. And so I think it's a perfect opportunity to bring issues to light, because if you don't bring them to light, when the stage is the biggest, it's going to be hard to get movement. And so oftentimes things like this, the Olympic Games and protesting or, raising awareness on something is part of it. And it's part of the human condition. And in my opinion, that is the Olympic spirit.
Hey, sports fans, if you want to watch more sports seriously, be sure to check out these clips right here. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel to see all the great content from us here at USA Today Sports.